Hey everybody, we're at JSR Performance in Wichita, Kansas. These guys are legendary for UTVs, ATVs, been around for years. They got trophies everywhere, tons of magazine covers, lots of cool projects in the garage from out the years, really cool stuff happening, stuff tore down, stuff getting rebuilt. We're out here gonna do some dyno runs on our 1000 Razor, should be pretty fun.
I'm Brad with Aerocharge. This is John from JSR. He's down in Wichita. We just came down basically he's been a dealer for us for years and done a bunch of stuff. This is their shop car. Just tell us what you've got here. You've got a ton of trick parts here.
We started this as a project for our shop to show what can be done if you didn't have to worry about your budget, basically. This is if you said, let's just go for it with everything you can dream of. We started out with a brand new 2014 Razor XP1000. We started out doing the basic stuff that a lot of people will do: seats, car-to-car communication, roll cage, the safety things, the tires, wheels. Then we started going into the more race aspect of it, is our intake system, sway bars, starting with the motor package, shocks, everything else, quick steering, just on and on from there. The goal for this car is, in the end, to show what truly can be done with one of these. Its next step is a big motor. Second step after that one, a third step will be the full turbos. We're going to try to do a twin turbo system on this, or not try, we're actually going to do a twin turbo system on this car.
Get her done.
Get it done. To show, one of these cars with a stock style motor, it'd be built, of course, for that can make 200 horsepower out of one of these things and be reliable still. It's all to make the car more reliable, make the car handle and drive better, and keep you safer.
We were even talking earlier about the different G-loads that you get from an arched roll cage top versus a flat.
There's people that's going to get hurt by some of the cages and stuff that's out there because they're not looking at the engineering aspect of it. They're not looking truly what happens in a crash.
Right.
Our whole goal about our company is to build products that does live, will be safe, and if you do have that catastrophic crash, you're going to walk away from them. If you have that mild crash, you're going to dust it off and keep going.
There's always that customer that wants to pack all the stuff in here. Mm-hmm. His extra fuel is cooler, whatever. But this is obviously specific too. If you want to drink of water, you got to go back to camp.
It's got cup holders.
Okay, so at Pikes Peak, how many times have you raced Pikes Peak?
I've raced Pikes Peak 15 times. Finished first 5 times. 6 times unofficial. I got disqualified once with the fastest time. The rule said you had to run OEM cylinders, and I called and they said, yes, you can modify them. So what we took the cylinders and dropped them in the furnace and melted down the stock cylinders and made our own new cylinder. It was OEM cylinders modified.
Okay. That might be stretching it. I like the creativity.
The direct regular setup that you guys manufacture is a great turbo kit to sell to everybody that drives their car, has fun with their cars. The twin turbo is just to show what can be done with the technology that's available today.
Right.
It's not for the general public because most people do not want to put that kind of horsepower out or have the cost involved in doing twins versus a setup. And realistically, we could do the same amount of horsepower with a single turbo.
Yeah, it's just something fun and different.
It's something fun and different to show it can be done. If you already have a turbo and you're wanting to go the next step in motor, get more horsepower, there is things you really need to do to the motor to make it more reliable. One is lower compression pistons, good rods, valve train components. Once you do that, the motor becomes really reliable. You can turn the boost up quite a bit more.
Yeah.
With still staying on pump gas. Then you need to go to race fuel after that, and you can go up even higher. We can go that next step, which we internal balance the engine, Corilla rods, everything in the motor. Then you can go really high on boost and make stupid horsepower.
There's a lot of people say, oh, I'll do a turbo, or I'll do a built motor. They complement each other.
Yes.
You make the air flow through it better. I shove the air through it better. If it's easier to shove the air through it, it makes more power. I mean, it all works together. The clutching is what determines how we shift the power from the engine to the drivetrain. And obviously, if we're doubling the horsepower, you should address clutches.
Probably the standard in the industry as far as big horsepower, reliable clutch is the STM system. Pricey, but it works and has good results. I mean, you can put an STM clutch on it. You're going to pick up with the turbo 10 miles an hour top end speed.
Yep.
It's going to get off the corner faster. It's not going to eat belts as often. Keeping the belts cool in these cars is an issue, especially in dunes, rock crawling, whatever you're doing. They've had a lot of issues with the belts getting hot. We use an internal blower system to push air into it, continuously keeping it cool.
Right.
Drops the belt temperatures drastically.
Right.
Keeps the belts alive. And the fan system is cheaper than one belt.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer.
No.
If you've ate up more than one belt, you should be buying one of these fan induction systems on your car.
I might have done that.
A time or two.
That's called testing.
Everything we've done is we still build each motor individual for each person. So we look at the customer, we ask them a lot of basic questions. What do you want this to do? What are you going to be doing with it? How are you going to drive this car? From that information, then we talk to them about what should be built for them. So they're getting the best for their money that they can get. So we're not wasting money. We're not buying a kit that Joe Smo says is the best thing since sliced bread, and half it doesn't pertain to what you want it to do. Our company philosophy is, once you start paying me money, I work for that person. You know, you're paying me to work for you.
Right.
So be that way. Make the customer happy, do their job the way they want it done, and make it right.
This is just advice to really anybody. Keep the number of chiefs involved down to a minimum. Pick a shop that works with a turbo company. They're gonna help you out, and then they'll help you with the engine build for that turbo company for your goals. Don't go to this shop for this and go to the internet for this and go to this turbo company because you heard about this or whatever. Is make sure that all the ingredients work well together.
I mean, that goes back to racing. I mean, we built motors for all the national riders and stuff. If you look at everybody who's won national championships, they've been with either a team or an engine builder or their mechanic for years. They've learned what that person wants and understands what he needs.
Right.
And that pays off.
I know I've got a racer that races for me. He ain't got a clue what he wants.
That's a
Good. Well, yeah.
As long as the paychecks are coming, it's good.
It's good.
What could be better? Nothing. I don't know.
It's good.
Kills me that, you know, you see all these dyno numbers from people and stuff like this, and half the time you don't understand that when they did the dyno run, they put an aluminum drag axle in the bike, they put a shortened swing arm on it, and did the dyno run because it gained 7 horsepower just from that. Your dune bike's not going to have an aluminum axle for most of the time if you're riding this thing, and you're not going to have a 200-inch swing arm on it. You're going to have a plus 10.
Yeah.
Well, a plus 10 with a regular axle in it, it's going to be 8 horsepower less than what they showed you. You know, it's a way to get around the numbers, and people do it all the time. The very first thing on every conversation with somebody that calls me, asking, what kind of horsepower does it make? I said, here's the thing, you want the real numbers or the bullshit number? This is exactly what I tell him. You want the real number or the bullshit numbers? He goes, well, give me the real number. I said, okay, I'll give you the real numbers. The motor you're asking me to build is going to make about 55, 56 horsepower and be a great, fun motor. And he goes, well, they said it'll make 65. Okay, here's the bullshit number. I had a big-time engine shop. I got to talk to him on the dyno, and I was like, about dyno and bikes. I was like, what are you using for a corrective factor? Because I got the bike that you just sent to this guy, supposed to make this number, and it ain't nowhere close. And he goes, well, we have oxygenated fuel on it. We're running our dyno tires, and we get them up 22 pounds pressure, and they're slicks. Okay, what else you do? Well, make sure you lube the chain, and well, you can't get there because we had our axle put in it, and I used a corrective factor of STP instead of SEA. I said, yeah, I'm on SEA like it's supposed to be the standard industry level. He goes, well, turn it to STP and that's going to help, and then put this in there. And I got it within 3 horsepower what it was supposed to make. He said, this is the closest I'm going to get you tuning this bike because there's no way I can get you without cheating. Dynos are great tuning tools. They're great to let you know if you're making improvements or not.
Period.
Exactly. Anything beyond that, it's bull. Somebody comes to me and says, you can't do that, that's what I like taking on. Proving to them it can be done. When they first said fuel injection on a 2-stroke will never work, I started laughing. I said, I'll figure it out. It may have took me 10 years to do it, but with help from lots of people, but we made it work and can prove it can be done. It's that drive to still do the one-off jobs that you learn from that helps with the final product and what you sell every day. You know, it's that desire to want to learn that a lot of shops have lost. They just want to make their money, go on, and that's it. I still enjoy that, you know, being put under the microscope saying, can you do this? And proving it can be done. If I say I'm going to do it, I'll just do it. And I'm not the smartest person, but I will find the people who are the smartest at doing that job and have them help me.